How's it going? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series 86. This is number 2 in the series. It's been a couple weeks since I did the last review, but this is Kup, the deluxe class Kup, and this is a really cool figure. So his backdrop is actually the Quintesson octopus that attacked him and tore him apart, and then Hot Rod actually repairs him in the film. It's pretty cool. This does have a gimmick involved with that, which makes this figure even cooler. Coming to this side, it's basically the same, Studio Series box that we've seen before. Deluxe class at the bottom. On the other side, we get the same artwork. He looks horrified. I don't know, if it's supposed to be because the, kind of the octopus is coming to get him, or the squid, I guess. It's kind of pointy-headed squid, I guess. The squid's coming to get him, tear him apart and whatnot. He looks horrified, so he probably knows, he's about to endure the same fate he did in the 86 film. Once again, you have the 86 in the cutout here, and on the back it says the Sea Squid Showdown. Kup struggles to free himself from the tentacles of a giant squid. So yeah, it is a squid. Here you got a nice artwork of his robot and vehicle modes. And that's pretty much it for the box. So, moving right into the figure himself. I'm going to go ahead and adjust my camera. Here is the Studio Series 86 Kup in his truck mode, and he looks pretty cool. I actually have the Titans Return version here to compare, and you can see it's a fair bit smaller than the Titans Return version, but the amount of stuff they did to create this figure versus what effort went into this figure, it leaps and bounds ahead of this Titans Return offering. Plus the colors are accurate to the movie and the G1 Season 3 television show. This one also had the Headmaster gimmick, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of pull him out here, and so we can compare him later for the head sculpts. Actually, I'm just going to leave him in there. I'll be transforming this guy for comparisons. Yeah, pretty cool. Where this one came with 2 accessories, this one also comes with 2 accessories. However, his accessories are a bit more accurate to what we saw on the screen and what he would actually have had. So here is his pistol. Pretty cool. It's all cast in this light blue, almost like a bluish white plastic. Pretty cool. It's got a tab here on the side and a 5mm port here. And this tab on the side can actually plug into this slot here on the side of the vehicle. So that's weapon storage for his gun. Likewise, on the other side, there's another tab, and that's for this. And this is his little Energon Goody dispenser that he had in the show. So what he, used it, or in the movie, So what he used this for was when they met a new species in the movie, like the Quintessons or the Junkions, he pulled out this and used the universal greeting, which is Ba Weep Grana Weep Ninny Bong, and then you offer them an Energon Goody without making any sudden moves, and if they are a peaceful race, they will reciprocate, and the Alicons did not reciprocate. Him and Hot Rod actually ended up running out of Energon goodies. So that's pretty cool, and that just stores on there. It has a tab on the side once again. It's cast in clear plastic and then painted over in green. Looking at the vehicle mode, I'm going to go ahead and pull the weapons off. It rolls pretty decently. The wheels are rolling. It sounds like it's just sliding, but they are rolling. They're more of a textured plastic. It's kind of like, it's not smooth. It's rough texture to the plastic. So it does have a bit of grip when you roll it, especially on smooth surfaces. So it is actually rolling on all 4 tires. He has this really crisp Autobot logo here on the side of the truck. And then he has this here, which I wish this paint would have continued to here. However, they molded this in that so-called unpaintable plastic that they use. It's kind of a bummer. They use that same paint up here, and it matches pretty well with that lighter color of blue plastic. Once again, right here, they use that same, darker blue plastic that's unpaintable with the paints that they use. So this doesn't really, it's not the same color. It doesn't kind of match up at all there. Once again, he has another really crisp Autobot logo here. Clear plastic over metallic blue paint, which is looks really nice. Here he is from the underside, so you can see his legs and his arms, and that's about it. Does do a pretty good job of hiding his robot mode. So, now for transformation. I'm going to go ahead and start by kind of want to come to the side here and just kind of free up these panels. They do clip in pretty securely, so I like to pull this out just a little bit so that I can just pull this up and out without damaging pieces. And this has a little sliding bar inside the piece. So there, it's in. You want to pull it out. Actually, you want to come back here and pull these panels open first. The hands tab onto the bottom of these panels. Rotate that around and it tabs in. Rotate this and then it will tab in right here above this striped piece. Or whatever. Kind of this little streamlined zone. This side doesn't tab in very securely. The other side tabs in a lot more securely on my copy. So just bring that flap around. Pull this out so you can kind of slide this and then tab it. It's a very tight joint, and that's something about this figure is a lot of his joints are really tight, which is really nice. They're not too tight where you think you'll break him, but they're tight enough where it's going to be pretty secure in both modes. Next, you want to pull open these shin pieces and turn that like that. Close those shin pieces back up. Now you can kind of bring the toes out if you want. And then this, kind of just bring this down. You have his Gert truck mode. You can even pull his arms out if you want. So there's some little tabs here that actually go around the shoulder assemblies. Kind of want to pull this panel up to free that up. And there's also 2 little tabs that go into underneath the windshield. Once you pull that up, you can kind of pull these arms out to the side a bit, and that'll allow you to bring this all the way around. On this armature here, it's like a double hinge in the shape of an L, so like one goes in and then the other one. And then bring this panel flat here against this, which actually looks like a seat. It's goes around his head, but it looks like it's a seat almost. And then flip this panel up. And just leave that alone for now. Next, you kind of want to bring the panel the heads on up, so you can bring these fenders and wheels into the body. Bring this back down, and these 2 tabs on the sides will actually plug into where the legs, these leg panels were plugged in earlier. And just snap into place and lock everything there very securely. You can bring his arms down, and those will tab in here and here. And then this piece will rotate to bring his arm and his shoulder into place. And you can just bring his arm around so it's properly oriented. Go ahead and straighten his legs out a bit. And then finally, this tab here will actually tab into this back, this slot in the back of his lower back. And then these 2 tabs will actually plug into these two slots here. And realistically, it's just this bottom tab that holds it in place. These two up here don't seem to actually lock in or do much. And there he is, all transformed into his robot mode. And he is pretty cool. He looks like he stepped right out of the movie, and I really, really dig that. I'm going to transform the Titans Return version real quick off camera. So he's mostly molded in the in that darker green plastic, and also quite a bit of the darker green, or the lighter bluish gray paint. Most of the molded pieces in that light bluish gray or that unpaintable plastic. There are a few instances where this is like the grayish matched paint over this darker blue plastic. Down here, these are actually more of the solid plastic that they use. Get this guy finished up real quick. His proportions look very nice to me. He doesn't seem to have, his arms don't seem to be too long or lanky. His legs seem to be well proportioned to his body. His head seems about the right size in proportion to his shoulders. So he seems like he's very well proportioned. Here's the Titans Return version, so you can see just how much difference there is between the two of them. So not only is there color, like a drastic color difference, where this one's going for the more G1 toy colors, this one's definitely going for that movie aesthetic. This one also has more blocky arms, while this one has the more accurate rounded shoulders and forearms. And then, of course, you know, he's got these huge blocky lower legs, whereas this guy is more streamlined, more sleek. So, and they're both pretty clean from the back. This guy almost seemed too clean, and I actually remedied that by, when I was displaying him, I kept his guns here as like a small little backpack. That said, this guy has a small backpack, and it doesn't seem out of place. Now coming to the head sculpts, you can see just how much difference there is between the two of them. This definitely, the Studio Series, definitely, he looks more like he's seen some war, and I do like the light piping that they used here. As for this guy, he's kind of just like a younger version, I would say. He just looks gruff and like he's seen some war, but he hasn't seen too much yet, you know? He's not a young pup anymore, but he's also not he's not an extremely war-torn veteran in this iteration. This guy, he has a lot of stories to tell. And one such story is that time when they were on Quintessa and he got ripped apart by a giant squid. So you can actually replicate him being torn apart by the squid. His arms and his legs are actually removable on 5mm joints, 5mm peg and ports. So you can actually pull apart all of his arms and legs, and he can kind of just be like, "Fix me!" Or you can, you know, have the two that he still had. He's like, "Ah!" And then with Hot Rod having the welding torch and everything, he can actually fix Hot Rod fix Kup once they get to the shore. As for his accessories, he does hold them securely. His pistol in one hand, and then you can put the Goody container in his other hand. It actually seems like it should sit at an angle just based on how his thumb is molded. It fits down pretty well. I do wish though that he could had an opening hand that you could put on there. That being said, his hands are just molded in place. It literally is just one molded piece with the forearm. Articulation wise, his head's on a ball joint, and the ball joint goes from the head into the body. It doesn't go from the body into the head. So he does have a bit more side-to-side movement than some other figures would. He can't look up very far. That's about as far as he can look up. I guess far enough to look up to Optimus, far enough down to look down to, say, RC, who's a bit smaller than him. So his shoulders on your universal joints, they go all the way around, up, all the way up. Because this is a 5mm port and post rotation at the bicep, he has well over 90 degrees of bend at the elbow, about the full run. Once you get to here, it breaks the sculpt. But I do like how that looks. But yeah, once you get past that point, it does break the sculpt up a bit. Not a deal breaker. Nothing at the wrists. His waist rotation, very tight joint here. He doesn't have an ab crunch. He has universals at the hips. They go forward and back all the way. They can go out to the side all the way. He has rotation at the thigh due to that 5mm port, and 90 degrees of bend at the knee on very, very light detents. He has a nice rocker. The toe will tilt down if that's any use to you. Pretty cool. This has been my review of Kup. If you want to see how he stacks up with some of the other figures, you can actually check out some of my other Studio Series 86 reviews on my channel. But until next time, till all are one.